I'm really excited to have this playing this half an hour together with Daniel Yergin, discussing our new geopolitics report focusing on hydrogen. So it's really an honor to have you with us, Dan.
Well, thank you. I'm very pleased to be able to join you and to participate in this assembly.
Hydrogen we have been talking about hydrogen some decades ago, but then no one has talked about hydrogen anymore. And now hydrogen is all again there. And what we see that there's been an impressive slowdown of the prices. I remember that a very important think tank last year in July say green hydrogen was going to be competitive in 2050. Then IRENA comes to report, say that green hydrogen was going to be competitive in this decade. And if you talk with the common companies involved in the trade and selling, they say green hydrogen will be competitive in 2025, or already now they are selling their molecule, the green hydrogen, their molecule. How do you see this in terms of the geopolitical impact of this change?
Well, I think in terms of, I guess we can come back and talk about the timing of green hydrogen and why the shift to hydrogen, which I think, maybe I should pause on that because you did talk, there have been previous boomlets in hydrogen, more focused on transportation. I think what's brought it to the fore now is that the hard to decarbonize sectors, industry, hydrogen can play a role. And secondly, also as a gas, there's a question of a switch from natural gas to hydrogen gas. And we talk in our work at IHS Markit about that the infrastructure that exists now for natural gas can be adapted in many cases to hydrogen gas. So I think those are the factors there. Clearly, policy is driving it. I think another factor is that big industrial companies see this as a role that they can play in, because there is a large hydrogen business today that involves oil and gas and other companies, and so they have the capabilities. The thing is, it's still, early days. There isn't yet a hydrogen energy business. I think that's why your report, the IRENA report, is so important in pointing the way. But to get to scale, I think it doesn't, again, like everything else, it doesn't happen overnight. And it involves a lot of engineering to get there. And what I hear from companies who say we can produce the hydrogen, they want to know where the market is. So I think a lot of different factors have come together, but you have an agenda now, you have a degree of participants, and you have a need that you didn't have before. And I think that's the context in which your new report comes out, and all the work that we and many others are doing on what a hydrogen energy economy would look like.
Yeah, I think that we cannot agree more on the fact that two aspects are really relevant in this discussion. One is time, the other one is the scale. So these are the two main components of our discussion on the energy transition. I will completely agree with you, and possibly, as you noticed also in our previous report, we make clear that the most important variable is time when we talk about being in line with the Paris Agreement.
Yeah, and I think that, Francesco, I would say that I think one area where we may be a little different than your report, but your report is a really important document, is that we see a bigger role for a longer period of time for blue hydrogen. And if you have blue hydrogen, that also means that you need to develop this other industry called carbon capture. But that goes to the issue of time. And very well-informed people who are players in this have different time frames that they see.
So we are checking daily what we have said last year. This is absolutely something that's our strong focus.
Yeah, and Francesco, I think the next 2 or 3 years will really give us a clear sense of how quickly is it possible to mobilize the industrial engineering capabilities to bring an integrated chain into position. So I think when you come back and look at this, your report is a really good starting point, and then I think we should benchmark over the next couple of years.
And if I can say one word more on our vision concerning blue hydrogen, we also consider that there are regions where the economy is so strongly based on the use of gas that we need time to make it happen without disruption that can hamper the move to a cleaner energy system. So I think that is something that we have tried to take into account.
Yeah, I think in the new map in my book, I focused in on in the new edition on hydrogen, and in particular the point you're making about where is I think partly what you're getting at is the existing infrastructure that can be repurposed to use hydrogen, and then also creating sort of networks of hydrogen. And the need is there, and particularly it's going to be in Europe more than anywhere else, I think, where industrial companies are going to feel a lot of pressure to integrate hydrogen into their production processes because they need the industrial heat. And with the kind of framework that's in Europe, I think that will provide the incentive for European industry to be particularly focused on hydrogen. And then some countries like Australia will be very focused on their capability to be exporters of hydrogen, or the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, whether they're exporting hydrogen directly or exporting it in the form of ammonia. And one of the ways we see it developing, which is not on a local basis, but like developing like LNG developed, liquefied natural gas, big global trade in hydrogen or in ammonia being the way it will happen. So there are different paths there, and we're at the beginning of a new era when it comes to hydrogen.